The nominees for Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role in a Motion Picture are Cuba Gooding Jr., Jerry Maguire,
Samuel L. Jackson, A Time to Kill,
Edward Norton, Primal Fear,
Paul Scofield, The Crucible,
James Woods, Ghosts of Mississippi.
and the winner is Edward Norton, Primal Fear.
I have literally no idea what to say at this moment. It puts me on the floor to be even put on a list with Cuba Gooding and James Woods, Paul Scofield, and especially Sam Jackson, who I have been watching and worshiping for years. That's the greatest prize of the year for me. And exactly 1 year ago today, I had a message on my parents' answering machine from Milos Forman saying, Edward, this is Milos. Larry Flint is sending his jet, and I'm flying to the Cayman Islands with Courtney Love to see Woody Harrelson. I think you should come. And my sister turned to me and said, your life has gotten really surreal. Which it has, but it reflects the amazing people that I've gotten to work with in the past year, and especially everyone involved in Primal Fear, who were just incredibly supportive and created a wonderful environment to work in. And so for all of that, I'm extremely grateful, and thank you very much for this.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, back with another month. It's July. It's early. It's the first thing I'm doing. I wanted to get it started with a bang, and that means starting Edward Norton month for July. I'm really fucking stoked to talk about Ed's movie career. I don't think, again, we're going to be able to cover it all, especially now with the new way I have to edit my videos. It's going to be a little bit slower process, so we're going to get to as many as we can. But we're starting at 1996's, came out on April 3rd of 96, called Primal Fear. So we're going to play the trailer for you really quick, and then we'll be back to talk about Primal Fear and Ed's role in it. So enjoy, and we'll be back in a little bit.
On my first day of law school, my professor says, from this day forward, when your mother says she loves you, get a second opinion.
In the game called Fame.
You are a master at putting the victim on trial.
A victim in this case is my client.
In the business called Justice.
First thing I ask a new client is, so you've been saving up for a rainy day? Guess what? It's raining.
The victim in this case is not only the Archbishop, it's also the people of Chicago.
Excuse me.
Law offices in Martinville.
You got the news on by any chance? I think everyone's gonna want this one.
There's one lawyer they love to hate.
Sell the book rights yet, or you gonna wait a while?
Now tell me, counselor, which one of us is the true headline chaser here?
Unlike you, I was assigned to this case.
You know who I am?
No, sir, I don't.
Don't you read the papers?
Richard Gere.
I speak, you do not speak. Your job is just to sit there and look innocent.
Well, I am innocent.
That's it. That's exactly how I want you to look. Can you remember that? Look in the mirror if you have to.
Even when the headline is murder.
There was someone else in that room.
There was a third person?
That's the worst story I've ever heard in my entire life.
Now it's our story.
He's the one.
You want to go one-on-one with me? I don't lose.
What's the matter, Marty? Been a while since you rubbed up against a woman with a brain?
Who's the real story.
Come on, ask it.
What about the truth?
The illusion of truth.
Well, he did kill him, right?
No, he didn't.
Don't tell me you think he didn't do it.
So how you gonna get him off?
I don't know.
What do you think he's up to?
I honestly don't know.
I saw the tape. I know what he did to you.
Do you know what I would do if someone did that to me? I would stab him 78 times.
It's a mistake to stick your thumb in the eyes of the most powerful people in this city. You're worse than the thugs you represent.
Objection, Your Honor.
Next thing you know, he'll be objecting if we want to bring in the murder weapon.
Well, now the chief brings it up.
You're on dangerous ground here.
You print any of this, I'll sue you an ass.
Primal Fear.
This is a cover story, right?
Yeah.
All right, so welcome back after watching the trailer. Something I'm just trying out for some of these, just to get for people who actually don't know these movies and maybe get them a little, visual understanding of this movie. So yeah, this came out in '96, and this is his first movie. I'm sorry, I gotta fix my hat. Like always. This is his first movie. They didn't do any introducing Edward Norton. He's just in the cast. It's really interesting story about how he got this job. There's an interview out there that he just kind of showed up and got it and kept it, and he was good. And as you can see from the first thing we played, he won a Golden Globe right out of the gate. And so let's just talk about this. So it's a courtroom movie, and in the '90s there were a lot of them. I mean, a lot. And I think in the 80s too, but man, in the 90s, man, things got real heavy with lawyer movies. And lawyer TV shows, man, holy shit. Now, they're still out there. But I feel like it's kind of died down, the lawyer stuff. Like lawyer movies, man, how often do you see a big courtroom drama movie anymore? You used to see a shitload of them. Not even that long ago. But Primal Fear is a movie that I actually do like because of a few different reasons. One, Edward Norton's first performance is amazing. And watching it again, I realized he's really kind of in it just enough. It's a perfect supporting actor performance. He really is a supporting actor in this movie. And he just knocks it out of the park. And so full spoilers if you have not seen this movie, all right? Because we're getting into it. We're talking about people that know these movies. So if you haven't seen it, it's on Hulu. You can watch it for free with your Hulu subscription. So this is Richard Gere's movie. And he plays Marty, this slick lawyer who's a defense attorney. And, he likes to dance around the fact that he doesn't, purposely go help guilty people and everything. You already don't really like this guy. He's made to not be liked, but he's charming. God help me, he's charming, because I'm not a big Richard Gere fan. One of the reasons I like this movie is because of what his character goes through. I'm kind of like, yeah, take that shitbird. But the more I watch it over the years, the more I appreciate his performance and how good he is in this movie. He's really good in this movie. And like I said, coming from somebody who does not like Richard Gere that much, as far as acting goes, like Pretty Woman, fuck off. But I really dig him here. Because he puts all the slime out on the table in a few scenes where he's just admitting, what he is, who he is. And so when he gets this case that's like a slam dunk, just take it, get your publicity, and move on. Sell the book rights like people make fun of him about it. I also like that this place takes place in Chicago. And then I always try to point myself like, where was I in '96? And then I go, oh yeah, I wasn't even in Chicago anymore. But anyway, I don't know. So he takes the case of this bishop that just the night before, Coinky Dink Central, in this movie, because the night before this bishop is brutally murdered, they're all these people from the movie that are going to end up, in a room together, are at this benefit where the bishop has all these choir boys singing, and it's this big thing for the church and all their interests and things like that. And you've got the judge that's going to be on the case. You've got the prosecuting attorney. You've got the head district attorney. You've got the other guys. You've got Marty's in the room, and there's just all these people that are going to be connected to the cases all happen to be there, plus the murder victim, plus the killer. We talk about stacked casts sometimes, but holy shit, is this movie, how did anybody end up in this, being able to take this case? They're there because they know the victim in some way, or they were invited there for some reason, and there's a judge. The judge gets to keep the case? I don't know how the law works. This is just really interesting because the killer's in the room. So all these people would be potential witnesses to the fact that, did you notice him behaving strangely at the event? I don't know. And I'm probably talking out of my ass, but it just didn't feel right. Edward Norton is Aaron Stamper / Roy / somebody else, I think. We never really find that out. Maybe Roy is his real name. I don't know. But he's covered in his blood, and Richard Gere's Marty, he smells blood in the water, and he goes right for the kid. He's made enough, rubbed enough elbows, greased enough palms. He gets right in to talk to the kid, who's just this stuttering, innocent mess of just innocence, covered in blood or not. He just looks believable. And it starts out, this whole thing where Martin's just trying to get this done. Let's whatever, I want my publicity. Let's get it over with. But you start to for them to try to mount a defense, they got to try to figure out what else they can figure out that happened. So they start looking into this third man. And then they open up a can of worms by they finding out that the church owns all this property that people are trying to get a hold of. And people would probably kill for that because the church owns it. The city can't do anything with it. And so that leads to shady dealings with the people that are actually prosecuting the case. People that are high up in politics that are all connected to this. And then it finds out that there's a tape. And that, the priest or the bishop, he's a pervert. No fucking way. A pervert priest? Well, okay, this was 1996. So remember, this is kind of around when it started to show up bad. Where cases were starting to slightly come out about all the church nonsense. And I know that I shouldn't just call it all the church nonsense. Let's call it all the rapes. I know that's not a word that people like to use can't say for some reason these days, but yeah, before all the rapes were coming out, this was kind of doing it. And it was he was forcing them to have sex on camera, but not with him. And so it's just a big old mindfuck of why these people let that happen to themselves, except he was preying on, I guess, homeless people or young people that were runaways and stuff like that. And they felt they had to do it, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It just feels like maybe there was another shelter to go to. And again, I'm not victim blaming here. It's just sometimes when I hear plot lines like this of why did they they could have left, right? They could have said no. But either way, they find out that the priest is a big old pervo. And so they have all these other things that they're trying to get out there to prove that maybe somebody else wanted him dead. And if not, there was a reason that this guy killed him because there's other people involved. And then you find out, push comes to shove, that Aaron has a multiple personality disorder that comes out when he's really stressed out. And that at the point, when I start to say it out loud and long enough, it's holy shit, this case is just all sorts of crazy. And that's what had to happen in these movies, you see, because there were so many coming out that everybody was trying to top the other one. Now, I know this is based on a book, but I mean, there's a lot of people that write books about court cases. Look, if you've been to a Five and Dime bookshelf, looked at one of those, it's all fucking court cases and romance novels, so. Everybody's always trying to find that thing that's going to be that hook, that's going to be the twist in the case. And this one's got shit all over the place, man. So they were just they just kept stacking plot on top of each other. Oh shit, the priest was into this. And oh shit, the priest was into that with all these other people. And oh shit, the guy's got multiple personality. It's just it gets to be so much in all these courtroom stuff that it's just holy crap. But see, this is where it also shines, because Edward Norton gives such a great performance as this guy, this unassuming person, and then getting to see, oh, there's this whole other side to this motherfucker, and then you know, it doesn't come out. It's not natural. They're also trying to figure out, you know, like if it's not Aaron, it's Roy that killed it. We got to figure out how to prove it, you know, and it comes out like later, like after everything else. The Laura Linney's character forces it out, and it ends up a mistrial because the judge is like, well, he's fucking crazy. So clearly, you know, he can't be put on trial because of how all the stuff that was stacking up here. The judge was basically like, this is all just nuts. This guy's cuckoo, and there's all sorts of shady shit going on around this mistrial. Guy goes to the nut house for a while and then probably gets out. And then you find out at the end, you know, Richard Gere goes in there to talk to him. Hey, you know, we're going to be good. It's all going to be good, blah, blah, blah. And the twist of it all being, you know, he says the wrong thing to him about choking her out, Laura Linney's character in the courtroom. Knowing that his character would not have remembered that, Richard Gere turns around and confronts him and finds out that there never was an Aaron. There was only Roy, or whoever is calling himself Roy. And this guy completely bamboozled everybody and worked the entire system and got away with killing this guy. And it doesn't sound like this is the first person he's killed. And he may be from Kentucky, but he's not a fucking dumbass. So he's a very smart villain. He's a very smart, I'd say he has to be a psychopath. But he's done so well. And it's amazing that he didn't win an Oscar. But then when you, like, if you watch that video part where who was all nominated that year, and that Cuba Gooding Jr. won that year for Jerry Maguire. So, you know, who was going to win the Oscar? The multiple personality killer movie guy in Edward Norton, or the egotistical sports, you know, guy that learns how to play right with the others in the end of the movie. So, of course, Cuba won. I like him in that movie. I like Cuba Gooding Jr. in that role, but again, I just go, Edward Norton kind of... This really was a supporting role. I'd say Cuba Gooding was like more like a co-star. But anyway, that's just me. Also, speaking of stars and stuff, this movie is stacked with great performances from not just Richard Gere and not just Edward Norton, but I mean, Laura Linney's in this, and oh my God, Laura Linney in '96. Telling you, man, I'm telling you. John Mahoney, Say Anything, man, from Say Anything, and of course, Frasier. Alfre Woodward's in this. Frances McDormand. This was a big year for Frances McDormand, too, because Fargo came out 2 days after this came out. And she was nominated, and I think she won the Oscar for Best Actress the year that Norton won Golden Globes. Terry O'Quinn, man, fucking John Locke's in this. Also the guy from Millennium. People never remember the show Millennium that Terry Quinn was on, but he was the tits on that too. And young Andre Braugher, if you know him from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I know him from Homicide: Life on the Street. I also know him from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, though. I fucking love that show. Stephen Bauer from Scarface is in this. And Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, Don Eladio. Tony Plana is in this, and you know, I do like to point out certain people every once in a while, and I want to talk about, I like to talk about character actors that don't get talked about enough, and even though he's not in this a long time, I just want to bring up Joe Spano. Joe Spano is a great character actor who's been in a ton of stuff. He's always just very good at what he does. One of the roles that stands out to me is when he was on The X-Files. Season 4, two-parter, Tempus Fugit and Max, where he plays the head of a group that's supposed to tell you what happened in a plane crash. They're supposed to put everything together and put how the crash all went down and stuff. He was really, really good in that. He was actually really integral to the plot in that. And he's really good here too. And I love, you know, shouting out to some of these people that don't usually get acknowledged in these movies. And there's more people in this too. I mean, like, Maura Tierney, man. This is one of her first roles before ER. And again, man, Maura Tierney in '96. John Cena is in this. And yeah, that's about it. But this is pretty freaking stacked movie. and I love it. And now that I haven't, because I hadn't seen this movie in a good, long while. I mean, I'd seen parts of it here and there, but I wasn't, I don't think I'd seen this movie all the way from beginning to end in probably 15, 20 years maybe. I don't even know, maybe even longer than that. Maybe not that long. But anyway, fantastic movie, has a great catch. I know that if you've seen it, that's, hopefully you've seen it and you didn't like listen to me talk all the way about it, but just the subtleties of Norton's performance, of how you just didn't know after he makes his turn what guy you're going to walk in on. And then that whole thing at the end where you really realize that he was just spinning this for like everything that he'd been doing was all just to set this all up, and just how smart he was at playing the system. I mean, but also he was fucking abused. On top of all that, it's like, well, if somebody, if there really was a Roy, okay, and there never was an Aaron, then why was Roy allowing himself to be filmed when he seems like a pretty capable guy of just killing the bishop? Again, like, it makes you wonder, like, really what was going on in this guy's head, and we never know. And that's how you do ambiguity and leaving it up to, like, open-mindedness, like, how deep and dark is this kid? I almost wish that there'd been a Primal Fear 2 somehow. I don't know how that would work. But, I mean, all these years later, I really am kind of curious of, like, if they had a story where they could somehow bring these two characters back. That'd be pretty interesting. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but that's about it. So, anyway, that's our first Edward Norton movie of the year, Primal Fear. Next, we're going to be doing The People vs. Larry Flint. So that'll be coming up. But if you did like this video, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, please become a subscriber. Really helps out the old motivation and helps me get better at what I do. And plus, you know, it's fun. Anyway. So anyway, this is Robert Smirking Gun Review saying thanks for joining me on this journey of this movie, and hopefully you'll continue to watch these videos as we go along in the month of my birthday. Okay, so anyway, I better end it now because I'm getting tired. I'm starting to be really rambly. So, have a great night, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.
I'm losing this case. You know why I'm losing this case? Because my fucking client is fucking lying to me.
I never liked it.
Bullshit! No more bullshit, no more games. Everybody thinks you did this, everybody. I'm the only one who believes you, and I am that close. So I want it all out, all of it, right now, right here. Did you underline that book? Hey, look at me. Did you underline that book?
No, I didn't.
I don't believe you. That is bullshit. I don't fucking believe you.
I told you.
I saw the tape. I saw the tape. I know what he did to you.
Oh,
now,
no.
I want to hear it from you.
No.
Tell me the whole thing. Don't fucking do this. I want you to tell me the truth, and do not even think about it. You fucking killed him, didn't you? You did it. You killed him. You're so full of shit. You did it, didn't you? Tell me the truth. Don't lie to me. You little fuck, you did it. You killed him. You son of a bitch. You fucking killed him.
No! What the hell you want from me now? Quit your crying. I can't understand a goddamn word you're saying. You little sissy, you make me sick. Oh, looky here. Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you?
Hey, this is my cell, Jack. Who the fuck are you? I got you now. You're the lawyer. You was lawyer, ain't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, with your fancy suit. I heard about you. Well, my. You sure fucked this one up, counselor. It sounds to me like they're gonna shoot old Aaron so full of poison it's gonna come out his eyes.
Where is Aaron?
Aaron's crying off in some corner somewhere. You scared him off. You gotta deal with me now, boy. I'll give you a beating on principle. Look at me. You ever come in here and pull any of that tough guy shit on Aaron again, I will kick your fucking ass to Sunday. Do you understand me?
I understand you. I understand. Aaron gets in trouble, he calls you. You're the man.
Well, Aaron couldn't kick his own ass. I mean, you seen him with the duh.
Thank you.